watch this video to the end. This information is very important. Trust me, you won't regret it. There's a lot of racist people out there that don't want to bring up the racial components of these shootings. Okay? There's a racial component in basically every culture. And in our society, it's structured a certain way for people to respond to what is best described as white culture, white suit-wearing culture, white social club culture, kind of like the Freemasons, okay? To some degree, Skull and Bones, right? The political cultures, the corporate cultures. People respond to that. It adds to their background stressors. So the gun that was used, okay, he could have killed people with, a 9mm Glock, right? It doesn't have to be an AR. Now, I'm not arguing for gun control in this video or not for gun control in this video. This video is about the true root causes of the shooting. We know that just like with gang violence, there's similar root causes. Okay? There's romantic issues, there's social issues, there's conceptions of warfare and hand-to-hand combat that come into play. There's conceptions of respect, there's anger, there's frustration, right? There's various issues and background stressors that have to be considered. To not discuss these things effectively is to be complicit with mass murder, not to mention the 9 million people that starve to death and die of hunger-related issues every year on this planet. Okay, this attitude of apathy, this apathetic attitude, it's called apathetic for a reason, because it has the word pathetic in it. It is pathetic to not take a stand for what is right. It is pathetic to just keep playing the same old, boring Democratic card, Libertarian, Republican. It is pathetic. That is a form of apathy. Silence isn't the only way to be apathetic. To be silent isn't the only way to be apathetic. To be part of controlled opposition is a way to be pathetic and apathetic. The solutions are simple here. One of the most obvious things we can address immediately has to do with spending. The government doesn't spend money very effectively. And then Republicans argue that they don't want to pay more taxes. They don't want to pay maybe a 2% alcohol tax or 2% cigarette tax on top of the existing taxes. Okay? They don't want to pay a small $5 monthly tax. With these things, we could wipe out, homelessness and preventable hunger, right? Unnecessary hunger. Okay? And that would give us a firm foundation. That with the new tax revenue that would come when you start building tiny homes and so on and so forth, it would give us a firm start to kind of address the other problems. Part of the reason why these problems aren't addressed has to do with what is best described as, and I'm part white, I'm not racist, what best described as white suit-wearing culture. And I'm the son of two doctors. My dad's a brain surgeon. My mom is a doctor as well. I grew up in a very expensive house, in a mansion, a swimming pool, you name it. Okay? I know that there's a spectrum of rich people, but I know for sure, firsthand, that the privileged people exploit the hell out of the poor ruthlessly. And if someone who's a doctor who cares wants to do something about it, they can't really do much because of the strong social club network that wants people to look bad while they quote-unquote look good when they really look like Prince Humperdinck, Lex Luthor, Dr. Doom, Magneto, arrogant oppressors. They look stupid as hell pretending that the homeless are the problem, or the blacks, or the Latinos, or the poor whites. They look dumb. The problem starts with them, and their culture, and their policies, and their inefficient spending, and their refusal to pass new taxes to solve the problem. That would drastically reduce the number of mass shootings if they did. Remember that they're changing my voice. A core problem when it comes to mass shooting is stress and background stressors. There's also cultural problems. Gang culture is a response to white supremacy. It's also a response to LGBT and Jewish and liberal supremacy. All those rich liberals did not present cultures that gang members wanted to be a part of to the point where they stopped being gang members. This is key here. Okay? So in order to eliminate the background stressors and to prevent people from joining gangs, and gang members do a significant number of the mass shootings, we need a war on poverty plan, and we need efficient spending. We need to compare the purchases of tiny homes to private purchases. Okay? We need to buy land in the suburbs. Maybe separate the drug addicts from the non-drug addicts, and so on and so forth. Okay? Here's one possibility. For the rich, $200 a month on average. For the poor, less than millionaires, $5 a month on average. Okay, we could build 2 million tiny homes a year with that money. Or we could build only 500,000, okay, and have a huge food program, okay, with like $45 billion for food programs and job programs and stuff like this. Again, effective spending is key. Transparency, putting signs out there, putting it out there how these purchases compare to private purchases. See, this home, tiny home, for only $16,000, except for we'd have running water and so on and so forth. This one, $12,000 something. This one, $13,000. This one, $12,000, right? It's only a year ago, right? A year ago on Amazon. This one for under $10,000 and so on and so forth. Here's some other tiny homes, what they look like. Some more prices for certain tiny homes. Look at what features they have and so on and so forth. The tiny home villages that have popped up. It's something like this, except for on a plot of land in 10, 15 acres or so with like 100 tiny homes. Okay, that way we could come in an average of $30,000 per tiny home with running water, electricity, with land purchases included. Okay, this is key here. If we don't rally for this plan as a society, everyone who does not rally for it may as well be pulling the trigger themselves, because the problem is cultural. It's background stressors. And the answer isn't to make everyone like the Freemason or something, who are like some of the main people who made society what it is. Okay, gang members, jocks even. Okay, angry people, they're responding first and foremost to the mainstream white cultures, guys in suits who try to pretend that they're better than everyone. And the options they give them, say, join the military. A lot of them don't want to join the military. Okay, so they start acting like this because they don't know what else to do with themselves, because you have an unfair society that's trying to create a certain contrast-like situation. Also, I recommend vice taxes. Okay, if you spend $20 on beer and you pay 2%, that's like 40 cents. 40 cents extra, that's it. The inflation makes it grow more than that. And we could rake in $5.66 billion a year with a 2% alcohol tax. Everyone knows we're not doing enough for the homeless. Everyone knows the government is not effectively spending the money. So let's address these issues. When society doesn't, they're utterly worthless, and their offspring are going to be worthless, okay? You want to say that these people like this, who society chewed up and spit out, are, you're going to say that they don't deserve a tiny home, they don't deserve food, the hungry children don't deserve food, that, inmates get 3 hots in a cot and they get 3 hots in a cot. But you're going to say that the homeless don't deserve that? I mean, your scales are all backwards. Liberal and Republican alike. Liberals, Democrats, they don't go far enough. And they don't insist on effective spending. And Republicans just make preposterous arguments.